being moved to, we're going back to Portland. And I was driving a U-Haul truck. I was trying to remember the first time I met Janina and Cyria. And what had happened is, Janina, I'm driving my U-Haul truck through the mountains, going from Eureka up to Salem, or Portland. And Janina just shows up, like the home house, thin air. Suddenly, boom, she's this little teeny, she's only big, sitting there next to me in the U-Haul truck. And she says, "Do you want to go with me?" And I said, "Yeah." Suddenly, I'm in this facility, and I don't know if it was a ship or not, because I didn't like looking, all of a sudden I'm floating up to the ship. I went from the truck, didn't even give it a second thought why I'm not in that truck. Suddenly I'm in this facility, and Janine says, "I want you to meet someone." And I said, "Okay." And this other little entity comes over to me, and she says, "This is Cyria, and you're her intimate." I went, that was never explained to me, so I can't give you an explanation for it. I said, "Okay." Cyria takes my hand, and she walks me over and says, "I want you to know something." She says, "Music is a living entity like you and us, you and me." I said, "Really?" She says, "Yes." And he says, "That's why when you see a Mozart or a Beethoven, you're seeing music become human. And their whole life is showing us who they are." And she says, "Now," and I didn't even know she was there.
To me.
She says, "Look over there, and there's Sheila." How'd she get up there? And there's like probably 10, 15 of these little entities all around her going like this, reaching up and touching her. And she says, we don't understand her.
Nobody does.
She says, she's human becoming music. And it was the first time that they had seen that. And they said, "Now Sheila is a mixture of our genetics," and I don't even know if the word genetics was in my vocabulary back then. "Sheila is a mixture of us and human beings. She's a hybrid like." But they'd never seen that, where a human was becoming music. And
David would say when we were at the retirement center, wherever I am, you'd see 10 or 12 seniors around me because they just wanted to be with me. They wanted to touch me. They wanted to just be with me and feel my energy. And I was like, I never do that.
I called her, before all this happened, I called her the Pied Piper of old people.
Because I loved being with them all the time.
And so, but anyways, that was a kind of a neat, she brought it up, it was kind of a neat explanation. But it involved two sides of it. One was the music itself is a living entity. It's not just music, it's actually a living entity. And that when they become human, it's music becoming human, the human side of it is spending their whole life putting down as much of what they are so people can enjoy them.
I'm always asking him why certain people are just attached to me. I mean, I'll meet somebody for the first time once. Valerie Melati is a really good example of that. I met her one time.
And Jeannie.
Yeah, and I gave her a bracelet, the butterfly bracelet, and she just instantly fell in love with me, and she just is so attached to me. And there's been several people like that. And I asked him, and he said, it's because of your energy. It's because of what you put out. And I'm like,
yeah, and I want to share with you because I have a client who is music, who is here in human form.
Wow.
And the session I did with her, she went in and she went home to the music. And she actually felt the music and who she was oh my God, it was incredible to have her see
It
that.
is.
And it's just
Wow.
amazing. Yeah.
So,
So my question is here, because you were both driving, but yet you were up on a spaceship, right? So you were in your truck, in your car,
You just left.
and you just thought, now, obviously, your consciousness is still in the car, in the truck. So the truck and the car are still driving
Yeah,
along.
by itself.
but I don't know about Sheila, but I was not at all conscious of the driving.
Exactly. It was just happening though.
It was
But
happening.
now, when you finish with that, because what I want to ask now is when you come back into off of the spaceship into the truck, did you become aware where you were, that you were in a different location?
Mhm.
What happened when you came back? What
It
were
was a very smooth transition. It wasn't upsetting or freaky like I'm going to have an accident. It just, I was all of a sudden I'm back and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. You know.
And now, when you got to your destination, did you guys share the experience? Talk about it?
Not yet.
Yeah, we did. Well, didn't we talk about it then?
No, I think we just
Oh,
got
you
back.
did it later. Yeah, you told
Yeah,
me
because later, I just wondered, is this happening to anybody else?
Am I going crazy
You
or
know,
what?
and are Sheila and I totally nuts? You know, and I'd asked in prayer, because I went on a quest. I had a family of a wife and 4 children. And I had the 4 children for 2 years. And none of this was happening because I hadn't met I didn't meet my little alien here yet. And so anyways, then when I went back and divorced their mother, they went with her. It was back in the day, the wife usually got the kids. When you actually separated, divorced. And so in the scriptures, it talks about the Melchizedek priesthood. You said you were aware of that. So I told God, I said, and it says, Melchizedek priesthood holds the mysteries of heaven. So I told God, I want to know anything I'm allowed to know. And I was seeing all kinds of, it exploded. Information just exploded. And I was having a ball just experiencing all of this. Like stopping by and talking to a waterfall. Things like that. It was nature. The Native Americans loved me, and they hated me when they found out I wasn't Native American. Joan was still involved. The now when Sheila was up on the spaceship with me, she had, like I said, 10 or 15, but she never had, I don't think, an identity of them, and I never had one. All there was Syria and Janine.